Hey crew, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, we're going to be making another medieval mythological dragon design from a very old Creative Woodworks and Crafts magazines. Again, these magazines are now sadly discontinued, but you can see here at the very top, big and bold, it said this was their 15th anniversary issue, and it's March 2004, so the magazine is well over 20 years old. And as I always tell people, if you are going to seek out these older magazines and try to bring the projects that I make over here on the channel to life, please make sure if you order these off of sites like eBay or something that the full-size pattern pull-out sections are included, because that's what you need to photocopy. But the design we're going to be focusing on is very early in the magazine on page 6, and here you see the article here, Fire-Breathing Dragon. So really cool, very intricate detail here, and it's actually going to be a little miniature clock in it. So really neat, great fretwork detail in it, designed by Dan Fenelon, and I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. And the one cut and featured visually in the magazine was cut by Mr. John Palamas. We've done some of his other designs on the channel here this year and the year before, but really cool and creative. And the reason I want to make this project is because I made it years ago when I was just getting into scroll saw woodworking, and I dug it off the display wall and I cleaned it up, and here it is. This was my version that I cut out back in 2004. I was 16 years of age, and you can see here I finished it in a very simplistic manner, because once everything was cut out, this is a very intricate design for me to cut out back when I was 16, and look at what we're cutting out now over on the channel. It just shows how skills progress, and that's the main reason I want to make this project again. I remember cutting out all the details in the wings and getting so burnt out on it, and I was just ready to get the project done, ready to get it finished. So as soon as I got done cutting, I found the first 2 cans of spray paint I could find. I really didn't know a lot about staining or using the natural colors of woods and everything like that, or clear coats. I just grabbed a can of black and a can of white, and I took the pieces outside and spray painted them. And thinking back, I wish I'd have done it in a more rustic appearance to complement the scroll saw art itself. But the backer board is a piece of scrap 3/4 inch pine shelving board, and then the scroll work is 1/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. So once we get done with the project today, we're going to compare and contrast to see once again how far the skills have progressed since I was 16 years of age, and now at the time of this video's recording, I'm in my late 30s. But the pattern has already been photocopied to its full size and attached to our material with clear packing tape, so there, hopefully the details come out a lot better. It's a lot of tedious cuts here in the dragon's wings and around his little beard there that spirals around, and then in his leg here with that spiral. We're going to have to be very careful, and since these cuts are so small and fragile, we are of course going to stack cut and make 2 out of 1/4 inch plywood to support some of those fragile details while over at the scroll saw. See, that's something else I've learned along the way that I didn't when I made the original one, to have layers here to help support those fragile areas, and of course to make multiples of projects. But we're going to finish one in today's video. Our backer board is going to be a scrap piece of 3/16 inch construction grade plywood. There's no need to make this project with a backer board that thick. Again, I was just using what I had on hand back in the day, but we do have a lot of intricate details to cut out to bring this medieval fire-breathing dragon to life. And since everything is pretty much prepped and prepared, let's move the camera over to the workbench so we can take the Seiko scroller's drill all the pilot holes out, so we can head over to the Rikon scroll saw and start making some medieval sawdust. And over here on the workbench, we're taking the Seiko scroller's drill and a tiny drill bit and drilling out all of the pilot holes for internal cutting. And you'll note that I have a backer board behind the scroll saw work to prevent blowout of the pilot holes on the reverse side. But after all of the pilot holes are drilled, it'll be time to head over to the Rikon scroll saw and begin scrolling. And for all of the scrolling on this project, I'll be using a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade, and it will cut through both layers of our 1/4 inch material here exceptionally well with minimal chip out. Again, as always, starting towards the center of the project, and some of those smaller details, just knocking those out quickly so we can proceed to the larger interior cuts. As I had started cutting this out, it brought back memories of me cutting out the original one that I showed you all on the intro on the old Delta 16-inch scroll saw that I started the channel with. Here at the close-up view, you can see me working on the details in the dragon's wings. And way back when I was a teenager originally making this project, I remember getting so burnt out doing all the internal cuts here that I almost gave up on the project. But when I saw this pattern come back around when I was going through older magazines, it brought a smile to my face, thinking of those older memories at the scroll saw, and I knew I'd have to make it again and bring it to life visually over here on the platform. The pattern is from a very old issue of Creative Woodworks and Crafts Magazine, and if you would like to try this pattern, I would encourage you all to seek out the design and the magazine on sites like eBay. But I am just lost in my world of sawdust, as always, taking my time and letting the blade do the work. And here is a new perspective that I am trying out. Please let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. But I am using a mouth mount. It's kind of like a tooth guard that football players have. It's for people that do diving videos, but it uses the camera in the mouth guard to where you can film from this perspective. But I figured I would try a new angle as opposed to the chest mounted one, as it brought the camera up a little bit higher. And now we're doing that final long interior cut, and then we can release the piece from the waste wood. If you all like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. As most of you know, longtime followers and subscribers will know that I have a deep fascination with mythology, folklore, urban legends, and things like that. And I've shown you in the past dragons that my mom painted me that were ceramic, because I've always been fascinated with the mythological creatures. But over here on the workbench, we'll make our backer board using the washer technique, and we'll use firm pressure and trace around the perimeter, giving a 1/4 inch reveal and also a perfect backer board. And I traced it in pen, so hopefully it would show up better on camera. I usually do it with pencil. But now we're back over at the Rikon scroll saw for the final bit of scrolling. Still using that same number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade. And when I get done here, we'll have our first visual of the finished design. But now it'll be time for sanding with 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper and the vibrating palm sander. And I'm being very careful here because I didn't want to break or chip away any of those fragile details. And of course, with the backer board being a solid piece, we can be a little bit more aggressive with our sanding with it. But after the sanding was complete, it was time to add a splash of color with 2 different shades of Minwax wood stain, a light shade for the scroll work of the dragon itself to still allow the grain textures to shine through, and then for a contrasting color, we done the backer board a darker shade of Minwax wood stain. But after both pieces were wiped off, I set them aside to dry, and when they were dry to the touch, it was time to glue them up with medium grade CA glue and activator. And even though the glue basically dries and bonds instantly, I still like to use spring clamps and strips of wood to help add pressure to those interior details. But I'll leave it sitting for around 5 minutes before coming back and removing the clamps. This assures me that the glue has dried and cured. But now it is time to apply a finish. And for a finish, we'll use a few coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And I have it in the breeze of the fans to help accelerate drying time. And after it was dry to the touch, it was time to take the clock movement out of the original dragon clock I made as a teenager and put it in the new one we made here today. And the project was complete. And here we have the completed medieval fire-breathing dragon clock, cut out completely from start to finish over at the Rikon scroll saw, and it finished up beautifully with some very delicate and fragile details, but really cool. I want to once again thank Misters Dan and John for the beautiful design featured in an older issue of Creative Woodworks and Crafts Magazine, those old discontinued issues that I'll hold up here as we get ready to close the video. But it only took me around an hour and 10 minutes to scroll all of the detail out. As always, I took my time and I let the blade do the work, and I was as loyal as I could be to the cut line, and I hope that the results speak for themselves. The Rust-Oleum clear gloss we added at the end really tied everything together. And again, all of the scroll work, the main bulk of it is 1/4 inch material, and then the backer board is a thicker 3/16 inch material, and I think they complement each other the way we finished them. I finished the dragon itself with a very light shade of Minwax wood stain. That way you can still see the grain textures of the 1/4 inch plywood we used, and then the backer board we stained with a darker shade that still does not completely mask away the grain texture. So just be aware that if you do something like this, to make sure the grain is in a uniform direction, to make sure it's much more pleasing to look at, if that makes any sense. But I really love all of the intricate details. But as I was sitting here scrolling it out this morning out in the workshop, and I got to zone out because of all the details, of course I'm comfortable doing that, I was thinking back to when I made the original one. Again, I was only 16 years of age when I made that original one I'm about to show you, and I'm in my late 30s now, and it was amazing how much speed I have picked up over the years over at the scroll saw, especially once you get comfortable with the machine. As I just said, you can comfortably zone out, but it took me around a week or so to cut this one out. When I originally done it, again, I was still learning the tool, familiarizing myself with it. But here is the original one we made back in 2004 when the magazine originally came out. That's how old the magazine we use today came out, the article and pattern and everything. And then here is the one we made today. So hopefully you can see an evolution of the scroll saw work and the methods out here in the workshop. Again, this one was made in this very workshop on a small 16-inch Delta scroll saw. It was the one I actually started the YouTube channel with and used for so many videos. But this one was cut out on the Rikon 22-inch variable speed scroll saw, and I used one single number 5 ultra reverse sharp tooth scroll saw blade to cut it out completely. And then of course we added the clock face in it towards the end as we closed making the project. And it doesn't have a battery in it. This is just a clock face I had in the workshop. I don't have many of those to choose from when we make clocks over here. I probably need to pick up a variety pack of them if variety packs of clock faces like this are available, so I would have them readily on hand as opposed to having to order them and wait for them to arrive. But I think it came out fantastic. Here is the one featured visually in the magazine, cut by John Palamas, and then here we have this one. I was originally going to do the backer board, the burgundy color here, to tie in with the fiery aspect of the dragon, but all of my burgundy spray paints or dark red spray paints were clogged up, or I didn't have enough to completely spray paint the backer board. But I still think it looks good with a rustic visual of the two-tone Minwax wood stains. You can especially see all of the details in the wings and everything. And I'm going to hold up the second one we cut out. Again, due to stack cutting, we got 2 of them, and I've still got this one here to finish off camera or pass along to a fellow woodworker so they can finish it in their own unique way. But I want to talk about the fragile nature of this design. Of course, the dragon's paws are very, very fragile. You can see they move, and then these little hoops here, these spirals, they are very fragile and have and could have a potential to break or chip away. That is very thin material we cut out, and you can see there how it will flex and bend, so just be very careful with it, especially when you go to sand a project like this. You all seen me doing the sanding work in the time-lapse portion of the video where I sanded with a high grit 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper and a vibrating palm sander. You do not want to use an orbital sander on a project like this because it could catch that detail and rip it away, making you have to repair all of that delicate work you did over at the scroll saw. But once again, the pattern we used come from the 15th anniversary issue of Creative Woodworks and Crafts Magazines. I do wish these magazines were still around because they not only focused on scroll saw work, of course that was the primary feature in these magazines, but they also had some carving and some occasional turning pieces that you could do as well. But this is the March 2004 issue, and that was the same year I cut the original one out. And when I was going through the magazines and I seen this pattern come back across the workbench, I'm like, I've got to make it again just to see how far the skills have progressed out here in the workshop. Of course, if you are longtime followers and subscribers of the channel, you all know that my mom, Turtle Dove Ceramics on Instagram, painted me so many dragons when I was growing up because I was into mythology and folklore, and that was well before I wanted to be a pirate or come out here and start filming YouTube videos or anything like that. So this just ties in a bit of my history. As I said, I do love and still love to this day mythology and folklore, and I love taking time from time to time to study it and research it a little bit. So a great way to represent all of this. This is one of several dragon projects we have already made over here on the channel. What I'm going to try to do is try to make a playlist over on the channel of all the mythology and folklore style projects and patterns and dragons that we have made into one playlist, so you can easily find them over here on the channel. But again, with a little bit of time, practice, patience, and effort, a beautiful mythological fire-breathing dragon will emerge out in your garage or workshop when you, of course, take your time and let the blade do the work. Before we close, for a variety of finishing options, if you did not want to have this as a clock, you could, of course, cut away that circle and just draw lines and just have the fiery breath coming out of him if you just wanted to make it its own standalone piece. And I feel like if you cut it out of thicker material, keep in mind that would be a much slower cut over at the scroll saw. You could put colored epoxies or resins in it. But how it came out today, I think it finished up beautifully. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below as we close the video on this fire-breathing dragon clock. That's going to be about all for this one, crew. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social media feeds will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, crew. And remember, if I can make it or do it, so can you all. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you all real soon.